Okay, I think we're live. Um, it's a tough. It This game. It's a tough watch. It really is. This game is a tough watch. Um, LeBron getting hurt ended our season. I know he's still playing, but he's not 100%. And you can see slowly but surely he's breaking down. You know, it's just exhausting mentally to watch this team over and over again. It's just exhausting. And honestly, I don't know how much more Laker fans can take. We had some momentum going. We were 16-13. We had won our last 6 of 8 or 5 of 7, whatever the case was. It seemed like we were really starting to get the flow of things. And then AD gets injured. And then once AD gets injured, boom, 6 to 7 players, COVID protocol. And then we lose 2 games, one against Minnesota, one against Chicago, really messes up, any kind of momentum, any kind of win streak we had, right? And it's not even just the players. We didn't have Frank Vogel either. I mean, that's such a big deal. It's just annoying. It's just annoying that the Lakers had to go through this. And now entering Phoenix, this game against Phoenix, LeBron took over, right? He was making his threes. He was making his shots. He was just dominating. But I can't help to think, but if that did not happen, if the COVID protocols did not happen, would LeBron not have gotten injured at all? I don't know, because he had to take a significantly heavier workload because of all his COVID protocol BS, because of Frank Vogel not being there. He had to be the coach on the court, off the court. I mean, LeBron just had to do it all. And then you see him slowly, he's breaking down. I mean, when he landed on Jay Crowder's foot, you can see he was just banging on the floor. And you could see the frustration in his eyes. You could just see that this was like a different kind of injury. That, yes, he may still be playing. He still may be scoring, whatever the case is. But this is going to have a long-term effect. LeBron is probably going to load manage. He's probably going to sit out because he's injured, right? Ankle injuries, when this kind of thing happens, right? The adrenaline might carry you through this game. But as soon as the game's over, it's probably going to be revealed LeBron's probably going to be out for a week or something of that sort, where even if LeBron does play, he's not going to play well because of the fact that this ankle injury is going to continue building up. And now this is what we have. This is the Lakers season right here. AD was going to get injured. You're right. He got injured. But even then, you can look at it and say, yeah, we've been playing better without AD because he hasn't been able to keep up with our pace, whatever the case is. But you take away 6-7 players and our coach, it's just not fair. And LeBron had to take a heavier workload, and now he's injured. So, now I'm sitting here saying that the Lakers season is over. That's right. I think it's over. It's just unfortunate because I was one to say that we're going to win the championship this year regardless. But we're not going to. We're not going to unless somehow LeBron can enter a time machine and go back 10 years and just carry us 50-point, 40-point triple-double. We're not going to win because LeBron, I get it. If he's healthy during the playoffs, I'd take our team over anyone. But he's not going to be healthy. He hasn't been healthy for the past 2 seasons, it seems like. Ever since that 2020 championship, he was never healthy. The groin injury has always been persisting. The high ankle sprain has always been there. I mean, it's always something. And he's always had to carry this team, especially at an elevated level, because all this is going on. Injuries, COVID, whatever the case is. First round exit at best, this team's pathetic. I think it is the first round exit at best. I don't agree with you that team's pathetic because ultimately there wasn't much we can do. When half your team was out for a few games, it really just starts to ruin any kind of momentum you had. I mean, we were winning. We were winning games. And then we lose to Minnesota. Then we lose to Chicago. Now we lost to Phoenix. I don't see how it gets any better. I think it gets worse than it gets better. Unless the NBA suspends its season, which I don't think it will because Adam Silver, he wants the money. Let's be honest here. Adam Silver you think about it from a logical point of view, why would you want to continue the season? With the COVID cases they got, by no means should you continue the season. But I've already talked about that, right? He has no. I mean, you make so much money on Christmas. There's no way they're gonna pause the season. But really, I mean, it's just frustrating. It really is. I don't. There's not much else to say about it. Go ahead, whatever you guys have to say. Lakers suck. Lakers, not going to do anything. Whatever y'all want to say, just go ahead and do it because there's not much, the Lakers can do at this point. I know it's just one game. I know it's only 32 games into the season, but ultimately, one loss, it could define a season. It could define how the season progresses, right? The chemistry, right? I think things will start to slowly get better, maybe, because you got Frank Vogel coming back. Maybe Malik will come back. Maybe the energy will be rejuvenated just a little bit. But ultimately, this is we're 32 games into an 82-game season. I'm not sure, and I'm not so confident that we're going to go far considering the state that we're in. Unless AD can lose weight and get back to his former self, and if LeBron can, get 100% healthy by the playoffs, I don't see it. And that's so many ifs that I just put out, which is why I don't have faith that the Lakers are going to do something this year. I don't get it. I don't get it. Nothing is getting better. They done blow it up. I mean, LeBron, he has to do so much. Why does LeBron have to do so much? He's turning 37 in a week. So I really can't believe that this is the situation that LeBron is in, that the Lakers are in. I mean, I don't get it. I just don't get it. And you even see LeBron was being a perimeter shooter against the Suns this game, right? He was making a lot of mid-range. He was making a lot of threes, whatever the case was. He was being very aggressive offensively. But the one time he decides, okay, you know what? Carmelo gets ejected, obviously for BS reason, dude. Jay Crowder fouled him. Carmelo didn't get the call. He got ejected. Majority of our offense is gone. So LeBron's like, I'm angry. I'm going to take over. He does this, Paddington spin move. And then what happens? He gets injured. And he's banging on the floor in frustration. Like, why is this happening? I mean, LeBron can't catch a break. Whether it's injuries to AD, whether it's COVID protocols to 7 players, and Frank Vogel, I really can't believe that this is what LeBron has to deal with at age 37. I really can't believe it. And, you look at this team on paper, they should be able to make the finals. They should be able to win a championship. But they're not going to be able to this year because nothing is going their way. It's frustrating. Okay? I know people are going to click on here and they're going to say, the Lakers season's not over. What are you talking about? You're a fake Laker fan. You're a bandwagon. You don't know anything about basketball. I don't know what this is. This is just ridiculous. Let me just read over some of the comments. Some are coming in. Can't believe we chose THT over Caruso. Egos on our team are starting to show. People calling it 2020 a fake ring, but what is this? Whoever doesn't test positive. I don't know, bro, but I'm not watching another game this year. It's embarrassing. We need to sign Daniel House for defense, and Westbrook needs to go. His turnovers are killing us. That's the thing, though. Westbrook, he's not the reason why we lost. You know what I mean? Westbrook didn't have a great game. I get that. But Westbrook was starting to acclimate himself with our system. He was really starting to play better. And as soon as players started getting injured and COVID protocols started happening, that's when you see Westbrook's play starting to deteriorate a little bit. So I don't know if Westbrook necessarily needs to go, but I do agree with you that maybe we should perhaps look into Daniel House because just for solely defense, we don't even need him to shoot or anything. Someone to play defense. And that brings me to another point. What is DeAndre Jordan doing? Why is Dwight Howard not playing? Why did we pick up Dwight Howard if we're not even going to play him? Can someone answer me? Why is Dwight Howard not playing? I thought he was on COVID protocol, but then he came back, right? He was off the COVID protocol. Was he not allowed to play or something? Why did he not play? Why is DeAndre Jordan playing more than him? I'm genuinely confused. Maybe I didn't catch it. Maybe something happened. Maybe Dwight's not healthy. Can someone please answer to me why Dwight Howard was not playing? Because Dwight Howard has done great things for us. DeAndre Jordan's complete garbage. There's a reason why the Nets just got rid of him, okay? DeAndre Jordan's garbage. We need to look into signing someone like a Damian Jones, just some defensive center that can catch rebounds. Dwight probably had symptoms and was still getting his lungs back. Yeah, I mean, I could see that. That could be it. If Dwight didn't feel like he was in a physical state to play basketball, I completely get that. But if that was not the case, then I'm pissed because DeAndre Jordan stinks, dude. And honestly, like, it was an uphill battle from the start. I expected us to win this game because my prediction was I thought LeBron was gonna be angry. I thought he was gonna go off, and he did go off. And then he got injured because he has to do everything. So what can we do? What can LeBron do at this point? We just need to sign some defenders. We need to get a Daniel House. We need to get a center who can actually defend. I'm not talking about no DeAndre Jordan who just stands there and watches DeAndre Ayton post up on him casually. Don't get me wrong, DeAndre Ayton is a fantastic player. But really, the shots he was making, dude, it was just so casually that he was making his post hookup shots. So I don't even know at this point. I don't even know. Go all in for Jeremy Grant, THT none. See, that's the thing. You say blow it up, but then you say go all in for Jeremy Grant. So which one is it going to be? Is Jeremy Grant going to do anything for us? Like, he's a great player, but is he going to help us win a championship this year? Am I overreacting or what? Because I know we're only 32 games into the season, but that ankle injury LeBron sustained, it did not look right. And if you guys watched last season when LeBron got an ankle injury last year with that high ankle sprain, he missed like 3 to 5 weeks or whatever the case was, right? He did not look the same when he came back. He did not look the same, and then we lost in 6 to the Phoenix Suns because he ultimately was not 100%. I take a 100% healthy LeBron James in the postseason against anybody. But if he's not 100%, he has ankle injuries. There's a reason why we lost in 6 games to the Suns last year in the first round. It's because he wasn't healthy. We need to. Trevor Ariza was nice today, and my recap video suggested that he was the only player on our team that I could be like, outside of LeBron James. I was like, you know what? He actually did pretty well for us. You know, he made a couple threes. He had some rebounds. He made a block, right? He played some solid defense. But man, dude, this is it's not fun. This team it's not fun to watch right now. It doesn't really seem like there's much going on right now, and I get it. It's not fair to. Ah, man, it's just not it. This season ain't it. I've given this team the benefit of the doubt so many times, but he was good, but I don't know why they didn't put him on Booker. I don't understand that either. You know, I really don't know why. I come to your channel one day and you're already in my algorithm. Well, what's up, bro? I missed the game. What happened? Hey, GG, you know what? Lakers lost, obviously. LeBron got injured in the third quarter when he landed on Jay Crowder's ankle, right? He looked like he was in some serious pain. He didn't look the same after that, even though he continued playing, right? It was just really frustrating to watch. And it really went downhill. After LeBron got hurt, it went downhill. And that's basically what I'm talking about. The Suns, we were in a position to win, but honestly, when LeBron got hurt, that's our team. LeBron's your team. They had Isaiah Thomas on Booker. It made no sense. Yeah, Isaiah Thomas, like, listen, I like Isaiah Thomas, but dang, dude, sometimes he can be a ball hog and just jack up a bunch of shots and break them. But I'm not going to blame him because, one bad game in the 3 games he had with us, I'm not going to blame him. So, and Sonny makes a good point because normally we would have Reeves or Monk on Booker. Monk is a pretty solid defender, Yeah, I mean, it's just sad because I think, here's the thing. When a player like LeBron, right, he's probably one of the most hated athletes in the entire planet. But he's so great at what he does, right? He's played so many years at a high level. When he retires, it's gonna be like, dang, like it's gonna be a sad day when he retires, even though people hate on him and all this other stuff. Um, you can't help but to feel like, dang, dude, if he breaks down like this, similar to what Kobe had, you know what I mean? He played 20 years in the league, tore his Achilles, tore his ACL, tore his rotator cuff, right? I mean, it's just like he had to kind of limp into the sunset, and it's just sad. It's just sad that essentially, low key, it's not, Microsoft as much yet, but it will be, that LeBron is breaking down, and nobody wants to admit that. Nobody wants to admit it. And you're right, another era is coming to an end. I grew up with Kobe and with LeBron. And when LeBron retires, it's not the same because and eventually players like Carmelo, players like Chris Paul are going to retire eventually soon. So that was just kind of upsetting to see LeBron get hurt in the way that he did. It's just upsetting. It's just upsetting. I don't know what to make of this team, but if you guys have any questions or any points y'all want to make, I'm all here for it, because honestly, like, when I made the recap video, I was so annoyed. I was just so annoyed at everything that was going on, right? I mean, AD's injury, I expected that. Well, I didn't expect AD to get injured like that, but I expected him to get injured because he was told to put on, essentially encouraged to put on 10 pounds or whatever the case was. Is the injury that bad? You could probably watch the injury, and he did get up, right? And he was just standing around kind of like testing out his ankle, right? It might not look that bad, but I can assure you it's pretty bad, because when you got LeBron banging on the floor, when you got him visibly upset the way that he was, you can tell that it's more serious than what it looked. If you look at it, it doesn't look too bad. But, either way, that is a 270, 280-pound man jumping in the high air and landing on Jay Crowder's foot. And why is it always Jay Crowder who's always involved in this kind of thing? Can I just point that out? I'm not saying Jay Crowder injured LeBron or Jay Crowder intentionally did that, but is it just me, or is Jay Crowder always a guy to just, I don't know. Sucks that ever 2013 to 2019, we had one good year where we won the chip and have been mediocre since. And you know what? The reason why is of injuries. We won the chip, right? The year after, when we had Schroeder, KCP, Kuz, that team, Montrez, we started 23-6, and then we get injured. AD gets injured. LeBron gets injured. And now same story. This team just can't stay healthy. And when they did, COVID hit. So we just literally can't catch a break. And that is what the trash thing is about this year. It's different this year because there's more potential this year than there was last year, right? You had Schroeder and Montrez. That's cool and all, but there's still some major flaws with that team, which included a big man. This year it seems like, okay, you know what? Dwight, we got Dwight back. We got DeAndre Jordan, right? Malik Monk. Like, this team is supposed to do something this year, but man, it's just not it. It's frustrating. And not everything was our fault, believe it or not. Whoever LeBron's defender was, when LeBron slightly pushed off, right, but not too much, his defender flopped into AD's knees, and boom, AD's out with an MCL sprain, 4 to 6 weeks or something of that sort. So, Russ was my favorite non-Laker before he joined us. I hate how my opinion of him is changing for the worse. He plays hard, but he needs to play smart. Like I said, I'm not going to blame Russ. I think he should be the least of our worries right now. Russ is not the reason why we're losing the way we are. If you watch the games, then it's not Russ. These last 15 games or so, he's been playing exceptional basketball. And we have been winning. But as soon as you take out AD, as soon as you take out 7 players from COVID, as soon as you take out Frank Vogel, it's just not, I don't want to see y'all blame Russ. I keep seeing that, and it just, no. I don't want to see it, because as soon as LeBron got injured, I knew we weren't winning the game. So even if Russ turned the ball over, even if Russ had his bad moments after LeBron got hurt, who cares? We're going to lose the game. So I don't want to see comments like Russ got to go, Russ is this, Russ is that. No, don't do that. Like I said, I'm not a LeBron fan, but I wanted to low-key see Melo win a chip before he retires. Sucks that you guys are dealing with this. Are you the Bulls fan from the other day? I'm just curious because I know you say you're not a LeBron fan. Are you? I think you're a Bulls fan, right? I mean, I don't know. This team will never reach its true potential. It's just a sad truth. It is a sad truth because we saw Kobe, Nash, and Dwight. The 10 games they played together, or the 12 games they played together, like 8-2, 10-2, whatever the case that was. They had a lot of potential. And they looked fantastic when they all played together. But that's the thing. Nash got hurt first game against Portland. Dwight was never 100%. And then obviously Kobe, he had to carry the load, and he tore his Achilles. So when I saw LeBron get hurt the way that he did, I'm not saying that injury is equivalent to Kobe's Achilles injury in terms of the damage and all that stuff. No, it's not. But it's just the aura, you know? It's just the energy that you get from that team. It's similar. And I hate to admit it because LeBron, it was in the same situation, right? You see someone like AD who's never fully healthy, just like Dwight. You see Russ, right? I mean, yeah, it's cool. And then LeBron and COVID, and he had to, oh, man. But yeah, you are from that Bulls game. You are a cool guy. That's why I said I came in your chat the other, and you already popped up on my homepage. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's cool that, just sidetrack, it's cool that we're able to kind of have these conversations, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just cool to talk with you guys live, and obviously Gigi and Sunny, and I recognize you too, and it's cool that and there was another guy the other day. I don't think he's here, but I definitely should make a Discord. And so you say your Lakers season is over, so have your predictions changed? Oh. See, I hope I'm not saying it's over because of emotion. I hope I'm not saying it's over because of frustration of what I saw from LeBron's injury. There is a possibility that if LeBron gets fully healthy, AD can come back and slim up and be that same dominant AD that he was. You know what I mean? Like, there's still a chance, but I'm losing hope slowly but surely. It's just a decreasing trend. You know what I mean, Mabber? It's just... I don't know if my predictions have changed. Maybe, probably, but it's just, oh man, it really just sucks the life out of you when you see this kind of game, right? Your best player getting injured because he didn't have many other players at his disposal. So it's just, man. Gigi said at the end of the day, we all love the game of basketball and love our team. That's what we have in common. Just love talking about basketball. Even my team is playing 100%, man. I mean, if basketball is my favorite sport of all time, that will never change. Lakers can go 0-82. Basketball will still always be my favorite sport. So, I don't think you're overreacting. The season's over. Maybe we get it together a little later, but it might be too late by then. See, the thing is, like, we have 32 games in, right? And we never know. Season might shut down at some point. I don't know. There's so many uncertainties, right? There's so many hypotheticals, right? If AD comes back, right? Which he will, but if he comes back losing 10 pounds and he can go back to his dominant former self, if LeBron can be 100% healthy, if, players don't enter COVID protocols. What really pissed me off was an Adam Silver in that interview today with Malika on ESPN. He said, when he was asked about, how should teams, sometimes it's unfair when players are out because of COVID protocols and whatever the case is. Is it fair? And Adam Silver's like, well, it's an 82-game season, whatever the case is, right? I don't agree with that statement because 82 games is not, LeBron, he knows this. He's been on so many teams. Every game counts. And when you have momentum, when you build chemistry, right? To take that away because of COVID, that That screws you up long term. The Lakers were like up here, right? They're winning, and they took a massive step back with what just occurred this past week. All the hard work they put in over these 2 months, trying to grow, trying to build, trying to get some consistency going, really start to take a step up. And it was just all taken away because of this nonsense that's been happening this past week. So that's why I say Adam Silver, I don't agree with you in that sense. What I do agree with you is that, yes, we do have to live and learn from it, live by it, because COVID's not going anywhere, but it's a matter of how you approach, this whole virus, how you approach, these protocols and the guidelines and what players can or can't do. I don't think that was taken, into serious consideration entering the season, because the general consensus was, oh, okay, you're vaccinated, you're fine, which is true. If you get vaccinated, right, stats and studies have shown that it reduces hospitalization. But dang, man, dang. I know you're venting right now, but since you and Sonny are Laker fans, I have to ask if Max McClung is good. Both sign him to a 10-day because, yeah, I think Max McClung has potential. I mean, he is a hardworking player, right? I mean, honestly, I think he's a pretty low risk, high reward player. I mean, honestly, when he did play for us preseason, I like the energy that he brought. He has his moments, right? In the G League, you saw him. He's played pretty well in the G League. So I do think Max McClung will work out for you guys and the Bulls. I don't think that's, you guys going out of your way and, oh, it's a controversial signing. No, I think it's good that you guys did that, honestly. Honestly, I wish we could have some of that energy right now, because honestly, our team looks so deflated, so dead, so everything, because it's just not it. It's just not it. And honestly, I don't even know honestly, who here thinks that the Lakers can still do something this year? I want to ask the Bulls fan. Gigi, I want to know from you, because I know I'm watching it from a fan's perspective, right? So maybe emotions, maybe taking my, it may be like controlling my opinion about the Lakers. I want to know from you, if you watch the Lakers or anything, what do you think of them from a non-fan's perspective of the Lakers? Because I'm curious. Also signed Urson, Ilyasova. Yeah, I mean, that's solid, I guess. I mean, I still think y'all need to get someone like Miles Turner or Sabonis, but that'll do for now. But dang, I want to see. I'm trying to read up on seeing what the status is on LeBron's ankle injury, because now he should really start feeling it, right? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the status is, but yeah. If you guys know anything regarding the status of any injured players, let me know. Okay, so Gigi said, Bulls fan, by the way, I think you guys can make a comeback. I don't know about finals or chip, but I can't see you guys making the playoffs. LeBron's too stubborn unless the injury is really bad. See, even if he comes back, right? Even if he comes back, it's like you're not going to get a 100% LeBron. And LeBron will try to do whatever it takes to at least make the postseason. But at what cost? I don't know. LeBron's reaction to that ankle injury was just, it really looked different than when he usually gets injured. Because like I said, he's been getting injured every now and then, right? And he just gets back up and shakes it off like it's nothing, right? But this one it felt different. This one felt different. So I don't know. I mean, I think we can still make the postseason as well, considering how we have the play-in tournament. So there's more breathing room, more opportunity for teams to make the playoffs. But I don't know how far we're going to go. I would have to see who we would match up with in the first round as well if we made it that far. Because matchups matter a lot. Health matters a lot. Chemistry matters a lot. So really there are a lot of ifs, but we'll see. Maybe if I calm down, I can look at this from a more non-emotional point of view, but it's really frustrating nonetheless to have this kind of game. It's just deflating. It's like, like when you make so much progress on a task or whatever the case is, and then you find out, oh, you know what? There were setbacks and you have to do it all over again. I mean, that's just deflating. It's just deflating. And like Sonny made a good point, I don't know how much time we have left if we can make that kind of run. Max McClung is no Caruso. I don't know too much about him, but he does get good. Yeah, I mean, like, here's the thing. Like, if you have someone who's going to play with good effort and good energy, he's going to make your team better. I mean, regardless if he's a guy that has like 5 minutes a game, 30 minutes a game, right? I mean, that's all you want, right? If the Lakers played with that kind of energy every game, they wouldn't lose the way that they are every single game. But it's so hard to maintain that kind of same energy when you keep on just having these major setbacks every single time. I mean, this Laker team cannot catch a breath. I mean, the best case scenario that I could see for this team, hypothetically, the season continues, right? LeBron finds a way to load manage and get healthy. AD will come back in a month, and the team will not enter COVID protocols moving forward. But so many ifs. Another situation I can see is if the league pauses the season for maybe at least a couple weeks to a couple months. That I can see that would be very beneficial to the Lakers to at least rest up and be 100% healthy. Other than that, I don't really see a way. So, yeah, let's see. Gigi said LeBron's a tank. He usually bounces right back. I haven't watched the videos. Yeah, I mean, I would go do that. You know, he was visibly upset. He when he landed on the ground, he was just banging on the ground, and he looked upset. He really did, and there isn't much that you can do when LeBron. Yes, Adam Silver said he isn't shutting down the NBA, but he also did mention that every day is a new day, right? He has to look at the COVID cases. He has to look at, you know, what is the situation today, because every day is different. Every day it seems like it's getting worse, right? So yeah, he might not decide to shut down the NBA right now, but who knows? He might do it after the Christmas games, right? Because that's when the NBA makes a lot of money. So it's definitely a possibility with the trend that the NBA is headed into. It will definitely be put into consideration, I feel like, in a couple of weeks, if not now. Even though Adam Silver said not now, or at least he's not going to do it, right? It will become to a certain point where a lot of players are going to get it. You know, I mean, you think a lot of players are getting it now. I mean, there are already 100+ cases in the NBA. Adam Silver, I feel like at a point will be pressured after Christmas when there's going to be 150 to 200 players with COVID protocols. And he's going to be like, you know what? We have to shut this thing down for 2 to 4 weeks. It's a possibility. It's just a possibility that, you know, has not been talked about yet because he's too stubborn right now. And he makes a point that we got to live with it. But at the same time, you got to care about the fans, the athletes, everyone. It's not just you or whatever, the money, like that can come and go, but I get it. There's so much more that goes into it when it comes to pausing a professional league like the NBA. But honestly, like I don't even know. It's like, yes, I do want the league stopped. Yeah, there's one positive thing about the Lakers, and that's the positive virus that they obtained somehow over the road trip. Bulls are playing the Raptors tomorrow, and half their players are out. And Loki don't want them to play, don't want to take that risk. See, that's my point. That is my point, Gigi. Like, it's the same thing I had for the Lakers. You know what I mean? I don't want them to play if almost half their team is out. You know what I mean? It's just not fair. And Adam Silver says this is an 82-game season. It just ruins momentum, ruins chemistry, ruins a win streak, ruins everything. The standings are going to be all over the place. Playoff implications are going to be ruined because of this. And what if someone gets COVID in the playoffs? Adam Silver, have you thought about that? Because you keep on thinking, okay, well, it's just the regular season, but there's so many. I mean, the season has changed drastically because of these cases. Really has. There's one positive thing about the Lakers. We haven't had our own team this year, so it's really hard to judge. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not judging them. I'm not talking trash about them. I'm just upset at the fact that we're getting injured and that we're getting COVID. You know what I mean? That's what I'm getting upset about. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. Adam Silver wants them to play, so he's going to have them play. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though. I mean, you're playing a sport, right? There's nothing you can do to prevent that, right, Gigi? So if the Bulls do play tomorrow, there's a chance that someone gets the virus tomorrow because of how contagious this variant is, right? Only 64% of the players are boosted. Um, but how are you going to move forward, right? I mean, because like, yes, even if hypothetically 100% of the players are boosted, right? Let's just say everything's perfect. Everyone's vaccinated, everyone's boosted, it's all good. But you can still get COVID, right? You can still get COVID. It's just not going to be serious. But how are you going to approach that? Are you going to let players play with COVID? Are you going to let that kind of thing happen? Like I don't know. So that's why it's kind of a sticky situation for Adam Silver. But that's why I think pausing the season for at least 2 to 4 weeks would at least give him and his team, give him and the NBPA a really good time to just kind of figure something out regarding this, because this is just a mess. It really is. People be talking about how a couple of years is COVID season. This is COVID season. Last year was COVID season. I mean, we could look at a team like the Jazz, who had fans all year last year, filled, and they were first in the West. And then boom, in the playoffs, they lost to the Clippers without Kawhi Leonard. You know what I mean? So like it's the standings could really differentiate because of this. Lonzo hasn't had it yet. I'm just afraid I'm going to look up on my phone. And yeah, see, that's the thing. Like that's the biggest fear, Gigi, is like to see that, a player on your team, good or bad, but obviously good, like Lonzo, right? You don't want to have to hope that you wake up tomorrow or whatever and hope that you don't see him, that he has COVID. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of bad to see, like, oh, Russell Westbrook has entered protocols. Oh, Malik Monk has entered. It's just something you don't want to see. Phoenix home court last year compared to Lakers was insane. Yeah, because Phoenix had like 80% at least, and the Lakers only had like 20 to 25, I believe. Like it's not even fair. It really isn't, and it plays a huge difference. Like that's home court advantage. The Suns had home court advantage. But man, that it's rough, dude. It's rough. It's rough out here. I don't understand how the season's still going on. But realistically, because I know COVID is here to stay. Okay, let me just see what this comment says. Do you guys cringe when the players show love to each other after each game? I usually like the respect, but now I'm like, yikes. I don't want them to risk it just to dab up. Yeah, I do. Considering how 100+ players are in COVID protocol or with COVID, right? To see them dabbing up. I mean, but like, they're already playing, they're already in close proximity of each other. They're literally sweating and touching each other. So to see them already play on the court is kind of cringy enough. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not, it doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel comfortable. Cringed after the Austin Reeves celebration when everyone huddled. And after that celebration, Russ entered protocols. Malik Monk entered protocols. Like, it just went off after that game. So, it's a great point that you make, Gigi. Like, player like Lonzo or whoever the case is, you don't want to wake up and hope that they don't have COVID. But that brings me to my next point. Like, I'm asking you guys this. Like, COVID is here to stay, right? It's not going to eradicate, right? But the best we can do is get the vaccine, get boosted, and learn to live with it, because ultimately that's what we got to do. That's what essentially the flu is like, right? The flu vaccine comes out every year. It's changed for the better. But even if you get the flu, it's not life-threatening for the most part. How does the NBA go about this? Because, I mean, I think it's a general consensus in this stream that, hey, we gotta put a pause onto this season. But my question is, how should they go about it in terms of the actual ins and outs of the decision making, right? I'm not just talking about, stop the season. Because COVID's here to stay, right? What do you guys think is the best way to do it? No masks are freaking stupid. Yeah, I mean, the players aren't required to. I don't think they're required to wear masks anymore. I don't know. I mean, there are some games where you don't see the coaches wearing masks, you don't see the bench wearing masks. But then today against the Suns, right, on the bench, you saw LeBron wearing a mask. So I don't know. I don't know. Do they gotta come out with like one of those, things that like what? Let me search it up. Let me search this up. Gosh, man. This is just ridiculous. I honestly, I really don't know what to expect for the season anymore. It kind of feels like we're just awaiting for the season to pause. So it's not really made for. Okay, you know what? I'm telling you now. This right here, this is what the players are going to wear. This is the only way. This is the only way that players are going to not get COVID. They got to wear that on the court. They got to wear the jersey above all that. Then maybe you can dab them up, say, hey, man, what's up? But hey, realistically, though, I don't know. I don't know what you can do unless you do that, which they're not going to do, obviously. I know this is old news. How do you fans feel about this? We care. We care, Gigi. We don't like it. Crypto.com arena. Listen, for me personally, change is inevitable, but I don't know. I don't like the .com. Like if it was crypto arena, that's different, but crypto.com arena, and ultimately, what this comes down to is that it has to be validated. When the great forum that Magic Johnson and Kareem and James Worthy, they want chips in there. And then when they moved to Staples Center, everyone was pissed. Nobody liked Staples Center to begin with, right? But they had to win a chip to prove it. They had to win a chip to prove Staples was the Lakers' home. And, now crypto.com arena has to be validated, right? Like Sonny said, Staples is Kobe and Shaq's home. But now LeBron can build his own home, right? So when you think of crypto.com arena, you can think of LeBron as opposed to Staples Center, where even if LeBron won, he thought of Kobe and Shaq. So I guess, I don't like the .com in summary, but change is inevitable. So just got to move forward with it and win a chip. But hopefully not. I don't know if it's going to be this year. I'll tell you that much. Let's see. Go through disinfecting tunnels. I don't know what they're going to do. Gigi, you make a point talking about how Nike needs to come out with some mascots you can play in when it protects and breathe. But you understand how long that process is, right? Like, I get where you're trying to come from. But designing a mask, you have to get it approved and all this other stuff. You have to get it distributed. The NBA has to make an official rule, whatever the case is. Like, dang, that's going to take a long time. Isn't that going to be the name for 20 years? Yeah, something like that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how long it's going to be there for. So all I care about right now is LeBron. If he's not healthy, I don't care what. Our stadium can be called, Jesus Court or whatever the case is. But if we don't win, if LeBron's not healthy, we're not winning. So, if it is our arena name for 20 years, then so be it, right? Eventually, that's going to be a home to us rebuilding for a lot of those years, but hopefully it can be good again after that. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. Like, the United Center name, they will change that. United Center, unfortunately, Gigi, will be changed eventually. Probably like I don't know how long it's gonna be, but they will change that eventually because the world is modernizing to technology, and you see crypto.com arena, who knows, Bitcoin is gonna come through. all this other, stuff's gonna come through, and eventually United Center's gonna lose their rights, and someone's gonna outbid them. That's just typically how it goes. So yeah, I mean, if you think of all-time stadiums, right? Staples Center's one of them. Madison Square Garden, United Center, right? That can't change, but unfortunately, it's starting to, and it will. So just gotta wait and see. And MySpace Center, AOL Center, Skype Arena. But once the Bulls become like the Warriors in a few years, things are going to change for y'all. It's interesting how you say once the Bulls become like the Warriors in a few years, because are they? You think about DeRozan, he is getting older. You think about Vucevic, is he a long-term solution for the Bulls? So really, your young core, your nucleus of the Bulls, right? You got Caruso, you got Lonzo, you got Levine. Maybe a couple other players like Patrick Williams and stuff of that sort. But really, when you say they're going to become like the Warriors, are you trying to imply that the Bulls are going to win 3 to 4 championships? That's a pretty bold statement, but we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, talking about other teams makes me less pissed off about the Lakers. Not so much about the Lakers team, but about the situation going on in the NBA and the injuries and all that stuff. Bulls are attractive right now. Someone big will go there. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. It's just a matter of who, right? It's just a matter of, could it be AD in 4 years? I don't know. I think it's more about front office. Yeah, I mean, definitely your front office is definitely more capable. That's why, Gigi, that's why yesterday or 2 days ago, I made the comparison of our rebuild and your guys' rebuild. Once we got rid of Jim Buss, things started going up and up for us, right? Same thing with you guys. Once you guys got your front office together and really started getting the less trash executives out of there, then that's when it really started getting better for you guys. So just gotta wait and see. Just gotta wait and see. I don't know who the free agents are right now, but I would die if AD went to the Bulls. Would AD even be healthy? I mean, he has like 3 to 4 years left on his contract. He's already 29. You're telling me by 33, if he went to the Bulls, he's going to be this AD? I don't know. I kind of have a hard time believing that. AK has a relationship with the Joker. He drafted him. Bulls fans are hoping we can get him. Probably won't happen. That would be an amazing fit, though, wouldn't it? If you guys got Jokic. God. Levine, Lonzo, Jokic, Caruso, Patrick Williams. Oh, my God. I mean, if Denver doesn't do anything. Yeah, but you're talking about AD age. You got to go by AD years. See, there's different metrics. There's years, like human years, athlete years, and AD years. So right now, AD is like translating that to athlete years. That's like 32. So in my eyes, he would more play like a 35, 36-year-old by the time he went to Chicago, hypothetically. But yeah, Jokic on the Bulls, dude, that would be disgusting. I don't want to see that because they would definitely dominate. But let's see what else, man. I mean, I'm trying to find some news. What's going on with LeBron? What's going on with, the Lakers? But I'm not really seeing much. They lost by 18, so I'm really just trying to figure out. James Worthy got frustrated. He said the inability to knock down shots and turnovers. It's the same story every night. 100% James Worthy's on the spot, and he'll call it how it is. He'll call it how it is. LeBron, he said the Suns are at full strength and we're not. I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, honestly, did we expect the Lakers to win this game? I did, personally, because I thought LeBron was going to go off. Isn't Jokic's contract up in 2 years? Vucevic's contract's up in 2 years, so it'd be perfect timing. I swear to God, something's brewing. Ultimately, Denver, right? I know they got Aaron Gordon. I know they're missing out on Jamal Murray right now. I don't know. I mean, Denver's looking really good. Denver's looking really good. Excuses, only satisfy yourself. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Raider gains. LeBron, when he said they're full strength, we're not. I mean, it is true. Like, what he's saying is not false, right? The Lakers have, like, plenty of players missing and all that stuff, but you really got to look at the reality of the situation and tell yourself that, we had a chance to win this game. I don't want to come out here. I don't want LeBron to say that, to be honest with you. If the Bulls can get a big that could pass out of the paint, they're going to be a force. True. If y'all didn't know, he's a repeat now. He used to be at the Nuggets. We call him AK because it's hard to pronounce his name. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. If Jokic, I mean, I don't know if he'll leave the Nuggets for the Bulls. I mean, the Nuggets are, it depends how Jamal Murray comes back. I mean, the Nuggets, I don't know if they're going to do much for Jokic in terms of a long-term plan like the Bulls would, right? I mean, there's a huge reason why LeBron left the Cavs for the Lakers, because nobody would go to the Cavs, right? He went to the Lakers because he knew long-term that LA's in the market. The Lakers are a brand, a worldwide brand like the Bulls are, that can attract free agents regardless of if you don't win a chip or if you don't, you know what I mean? Like, so Jokic may lean towards the Bulls. Bulls going to get a good European in the draft. Yeah. Another thing I want to point out, DeAndre Jordan was minus 26 in 15 minutes tonight. That's the second. I want to get up closer and say this. DeAndre Jordan's plus minus stat while playing 15 minutes or less was the lowest by a Laker since the year 2000. 2000! I can't. I can't with that. Still same, I'm done. Low AD can't catch a break. He keeps getting her in the front office, not signing the right players. I don't know if it's about the front office not being able to sign the right players. I think it's more so the fact that that they're not able to stay healthy. Think about the players that are not able to stay healthy. AD is that guy. So if, let's say, he was 10 pounds less and he could stay healthy, I don't think we're in the situation that we are now. So I don't want to blame AD. I don't want to blame AD. Raiders Gain said, knew who AD was before LA got him. He's never been healthy. Braun knows Father Time's undefeated. Like I said last season, should try Braun and AD to prevent a 5-year rebuild when Braun leaves. See, if you look at it from a logical point of view, Raiders, like, yeah, maybe you could have, but you got to treat your superstars right. And that's what the Celtics did not do. With Isaiah Thomas, right? You talk about a guy, 29 points per game in 2017. 51 points in the playoffs after his sister passed away. He did everything for that organization, and the organization treated him like trash. So now players don't want to go to the Celtics, right? You hear players like AD's father doesn't want AD to go to the Celtics. It's a general consensus that Boston's not treating their players right. And it wouldn't be a good look if the Lakers traded their players away like LeBron and AD after winning a chip. How would that incentivize future free agents to join the Lakers? So while I do agree with you, perhaps from a logical point of view, Raiders, I disagree with you in the fact that it would not be a good look for the Lakers. Mark Eversley's our GM, got us DeRozan because he had a relationship from the Raptors day. Yeah, I mean, it's all about connections, right? It's all about history. And maybe Jokic will feel comfortable. Lakers started 28-6 last year. You could say that now, but that would have been stupid at the time. Yeah, it would have been stupid at the time. 23-6, by the way, not 28-6. But yeah, I mean, it would have been stupid. Because if you start 23-6 first in the West, right? You trade LeBron and AD because you predict that they're gonna get injured. I mean, that's just not something you do. You gotta look at it from a business point of view as well. It's just not something you do. DJ has to go. He's out there for cardio. He can't rebound anymore, block. Right? Also, this team's too guard heavy. I agree. DJ has to go. In terms of you saying that this team is too guard heavy, that is where I might have some of the. I wouldn't say. Yeah, I think we do need to get another center. Can someone please point like any free agent or anyone who has to, Any center that's available, get him instead of DeAndre Jordan. Damian Jones is better than that. Tariq Black. Do you guys remember Tariq Black? Tariq Black is better than DeAndre Jordan. Energy, hustle, rebounding. Can protect the rim at times. That's better than cardio. Raider Gang said even the Bulls had to separate from MJ. The GOAT. LA will always be a choice destination because of the... I mean, Jordan retired the first time. And you can say for whatever reason, but Jordan retired the first time. That will, if the Bulls could keep Jordan, they would. They didn't trade Jordan or anything. And then Jordan retired the second time. So really, that's not really a fair comparison now, is it? Miles Turner. But here's the thing, Mateo. Like, you think about a player like Miles Turner, and you think about the assets the Lakers have. Realistically, who would the Pacers want that, could help them with their rebuild? Like, do we give them THT and, I don't know, Kendrick Nunn and a pick? Like, is that good enough? I don't know. I don't know how the money has to work as well. This isn't 2K where, you can just, we need more size. I'll take Jackson Hayes over DeAndre Jordan. I agree with you because ultimately, when you think about our 2020 championship season, right, one of our biggest advantages was size, being able to dominate in the paint, getting those rebounds, preventing those second chance points from occurring, right? You had JaVale, you had Dwight, you had a healthy AD, you had a healthy LeBron, but now you don't have any of that. Not one single thing do you have. So we need to get a big. I know someone asked this question a couple days ago. Who should the Lakers go after? Is there a position that we need to go after? And I said maybe probably a center, non-THT maybe. Yeah, I mean, I would probably pull the trigger on that. I mean, if you're trying to go all out, then you gotta maybe. I mean, THT does not look good. He's a very one-dimensional player right now. But here's the thing: he has a lot of potential. Is that potential do you want to give up that potential for a possibility at competing for a championship this season? Because if it doesn't work out, right, we're not winning a championship maybe after this year or the year after for sure. So then maybe you gave up THT for nothing. Is that how you want to proceed? Gigi said the Pacers want to go young. Yeah, I mean, the Pacers are garbage. I think they want to go young. So obviously, I think Miles Turner, it's interesting how you point. Who said that? Who said Miles Turner? Mateo. Mateo said Miles Turner would be an interesting name to put out there for the Lakers. But at the same time, we were talking about a couple days ago how the Bulls would be interested in Miles Turner. So really, it'll be interesting to see where he will go. Potential, we need wins, bro. Miles would be great, and he's not too old. I agree with you. Honestly, dude, I would probably pull the trigger. If you told me Kendrick Nunn, THT, and a pick, goodbye. I would honestly pull the trigger on that because you think about Miles Turner. He's someone who can get you 10 rebounds, couple blocks, and he is a great three-point shooter. We don't need him to shoot threes, but I'm just saying, I agree with you. I think we do need to pull the trigger if we can offer something like that. Because as great as THT's potential is, like you mentioned, we have LeBron on our team. And as far as I'm concerned, if we were holding on to potential at this point, we'd still have Brandon Ingram, we'd still have Kyle Kuzma. There's a reason why we don't have those players. So to your point, I agree with you. The GOAT, Brian Scalabrine, just needs to come out of retirement. Clearly. If Brian Scalabrine came to the Lakers, they would be automatically favored to win the championship. In fact, all the other teams, they would just surrender. They would forfeit their remaining games, and by rule, the Lakers would be the only one standing. So therefore, the GOAT would win his second ring, and and then LeBron, just a casual player, would win his fifth. That's literally what would happen. But yeah, I mean, let's get some more questions going. I mean, it's nice talking about potential moves that the Lakers could make, whatever. But we'll see. Gary Rebecca says, Fast Tech. I don't know what you're implying by that. Is there something I'm missing, or I'm a tad confused? Let's see. What other things are Laker players saying? Russell Westbrook says the Lakers are adjusting on the fly and just need to find ways to win games. Yeah, I mean, that's just calling it how it is. You just got to find a way to win games. Gigi said you also have to factor that in. Players are intimidated to play on the West because the West is so top heavy. Honestly, if you are a basketball player, I never understood this because by no means was I ever, I never played even high school basketball. But even when you're on an intramural league team or whatever the case is, you shouldn't feel scared of anyone. You shouldn't feel scared like, oh, I'm not going to go there because then I'm going to have to play them and them and them. No. If you're a basketball player, if you're an athlete, you should want the best of the best because that's the only way you're going to get better is if you play top-notch competition, right? I mean, if the Lakers hypothetically played every game against the Pistons or the Magic every single time, as opposed to playing top teams like the Warriors, the Suns, the Bucks, the Nets, how are they supposed to get? I mean, they got to get better, right? This is the first time in a while that the East is competitive. Yeah, I mean, the Eastern Conference is competitive. 100% the Eastern Conference is competitive. I mean, you got so many great teams out there, but like you mentioned, the West is so top heavy. I mean, just in general, competition is a thing that no athlete should be scared of because it's what you do for a living. I mean, you literally get paid to play basketball. So when I hear, oh, this player doesn't want to join this team because they're in this conference and they don't want to play these teams. Are you serious right now? Seriously. But yeah, I mean, looking at it standings wise, the Lakers are 7th, 16-16. If they win one game, they'll be in the 5th seed. So realistically, they could still linger around, and that's not what I was questioning for the Laker team. I was just saying how they have no chance at winning anything this year if they're going to be injured and all this other stuff going on. And who's to say someone else won't get COVID by the playoffs? So that's always a question mark. There's just too many question marks. And just keep in mind, guys, I am not saying the season is over because we lost to the Suns. I'm saying the season is over because of the situation that the Lakers are in. Forget the Suns. They're the best team in the West right now, 25-5. Oh my God, they're really good, but at the same time, they do tend to flop a lot, and I don't like that. I've never liked that about the Suns. You see players like Jay Crowder, like Chris Paul, a couple others I can't remember, Cameron Payne. They all kind of flop a bit. I've never liked flopping, but yeah, man. Let's see what else we got out of the Lakers situation. Yeah, I mean, this one person said easy to panic for the Lakers, but they've been hit with a number of obstacles outside of their control, injuries, COVID protocols, along with their self-imposed obstacles, rotations in particular, while trying to integrate a new roster. That's true. That's true. So I still think our season's over, but there is a slight chance that maybe they can do something this year, right? Maybe, just maybe. Devin Booker said, we just handle business. Okay. Let's see. I'm just kind of reading through what people are saying regarding the Lakers' loss. Like I mentioned before, Twitter and all the other stuff. I think Twitter's pretty toxic, but it is what it is. Lakers can still make the playoffs, says Gigi. Yep, they can still make the playoffs, but that was never a question for me and for other fans. Especially with the play-in tournament being put in place. My question was, how far are they going to go, and can they stay healthy? I think that's like the biggest thing. And we do have to wait for the results, like you said, for LeBron's injury, because I don't know what the severity of that is. I mean, the way he was banging on the ground, and even though he played, like, when he wakes up tomorrow morning, that's gonna tell the whole story. How swole is that ankle going to be? How serious is it? Is he going to be out for, a week? Realistically, I think he's going to be out for like a week. I don't think he's going to play on Christmas. I don't think it's smart to, at least. I understand that the ratings will literally be garbage for that Lakers-Nets game. But that ankle injury did not look pretty, and I'm not sure if he'll play Christmas. But what do you guys think? You think he's going to play Christmas? Because obviously you see, I mean, there's so many storylines coming up. I think the Lakers are playing the Spurs in a couple days at home. This is their last game under Staples Center. So, yes, that is a big, big deal considering what Staples Center was about. I think LeBron will feel inclined to play that game. And then, obviously, you got Crypto.com Arena, the first game ever in Crypto.com Arena against the Nets on Christmas Day. How's that going to be? Gigi says he's a machine. He'll be okay. He goes in that ice thing. He goes out and just be fine. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think you're right to an extent, but I do want to point, though, that, you know, in his first, 15 season, he's missed only, 70 games. And in the past 3 seasons, he's missed 70 games. So you're starting to see some cracks. You know, there's only so much that you can do. I know he spends $1 million plus each year on his body, but there's only Father Time is undefeated. So, yeah. What is that thing called that you stand in and it blows that really? I know what you're something chamber. I don't know what you're talking about, Gigi, but it's like a something cold chambers. It's like I know what it does. Like it heals your body essentially, and it's like some cold chamber that they enter in, and it's freezing cold in there. They just stand in it for like a minute or 5 minutes or whatever the case is, and they come out feeling like a new person. Um, Honestly, I think Laker fans need to enter that because of all the stress they've had to go through mentally, you know what I mean? So it'll definitely be interesting to see how the Lakers go about. But you know, you mentioned that LeBron, he'll be fine, but there are some cracks. There are some cracks. There's only so much you can do. Doesn't matter if you spend it does matter if you spend $1 million. Obviously, you're going to prolong your career longer than the average athlete, but that's not going to defeat the purpose of playing for till you're 45. You know, like you're going to break down at some point. And I think this also goes to show that if LeBron was on the Cavs still, right, that team that he had in 2018 with nobody, right? If he was on that team still, he would have broken down last year or a couple of years ago because of the load that he would have had to carry. So we'll see. I mean, it's just a race. I think LeBron understands that his body's starting to break down just a little bit, so which is why he's getting more and more frustrated every time it happens because he knows that his last chance to win a championship is probably this season. But yeah, let's not talk about the Cavs fan this season. Honestly, the Cavs are doing really well this year. Are you talking about the fans in particular? Because I honestly don't really care too much about Cavs fans. I don't really like Cavs fans. I can understand why you don't as well because you're a Bulls fan. So if you're implying that the Cavs fans are, yeah, see, that's what I was getting at because I follow each sports team on Facebook. So when I see the Cavs teams win, I see the comments and talking about how they're gonna make some noise in the playoffs. I'm like, y'all good, you know, y'all improving. Don't get me wrong, but you guys are probably still a first round exit, right? But we'll see. I mean, there was, you know what though? There was, I don't know if this was fake or not, but I saw something where it was a rumor that, oh, it suggested that LeBron was done with LA, right? He's not willing to put his body on the line for it, and that he's interested in going back to Cleveland with the young players that they have and the ability that they could trade him away for a superstar, similar to when he left Miami. Is that a possibility? I saw them like, no. I don't think he's willing to do that again because he understands that Cleveland is not much of a destination. I don't think he's wanting to do that again. And the only reason why he went back in 2014 was because he didn't win a championship in Cleveland before. But had he won a chip in Cleveland, I don't think he goes back in 2014. That's just my personal opinion. But here comes that time of the stream where it's an hour and 10 in, and I'm just like, dang, like I can notice my voice is starting to get lost just a little bit. Because, you know, when I'm talking with you guys, I fail to acknowledge that I'm talking a lot, you know. So whatever questions you guys have, I'll probably go on for like another 20 minutes and just call it then. Another notice I do have, I will make a Discord because I know a couple people wanted that. Maybe we can get something going in there, like an NBA chat, right? to, just talk about basketball or whatever the case is, right? I mean, it's always cool talking about sports, and I mean, you guys might be Laker fans or Laker haters, whatever the case is, right? We have Bulls fans in here, so regardless, we all love basketball, so that's something we can all talk about and have fun. Well, let us see. Just trying to see what the Lakers are up to. Any updates that we need to be aware of? Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of seeing the same thing. The Lakers understand that they're injured and COVID, ridiculed, and all this other stuff, but man. Russell Westbrook says all of the ups and downs are part of the NBA season. The most important thing is that Lakers stay together and make the best out of the situation, which is true. I mean, that's the best that you can do in these kind of situations, right? You can't turn your back on them. Yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking, Gigi. I was like thinking at a point there was like 22 people, and I'm like, dang, like, the stream a couple days ago, Gigi, you saw there was like maybe 5 people max, right? And even then, every single one of those people were interacting and talking and commenting. But for the people, other 14 people other than Gigi, let's see what y'all got. What do you think? I mean, you could bring anything up. I'm all ears for anything y'all want to talk about. But yeah, I mean, there's 16 people. At a point, there was 22, and only Gigi's talking. So, I mean, I did see that. There was Mateo, there was Raiders, there was Sonny, there were a good amount of people commenting in here. Now it's just Gigi talking and 13 other people spectating. So, I mean, that's cool too. And we appreciate the for y'all coming through. But, I know this is a Laker channel. I know I said this is like me just talking Lakers, and you see my channel. This is Laker content, but the stream is me more reacting to the game, right? I vent my frustrations or I give my thoughts, and then people come in. They can talk about anything else, and I will talk to them about it, because that, to me, I'm able to kind of build a legitimate way of communication and just, interaction with the people on my channel. So for the other people on this channel, in the GG, if you guys want to make comments about anything else, feel free to do that, because like literally there's nothing being said. So that's why I'm just kind of checking up on news regarding the Lakers injuries. I know Frank Vogel, he will be back. Frank Vogel is going to be back for the game against the Spurs, I believe. I think we were told that he was flying back from Chicago. Think about it. He stayed in Chicago because of these COVID protocols. So he will come back. Frank Vogel will come back, and hopefully the Lakers can at least, hopefully they can come back and at least get some consistency going. But it's hard to do that when COVID ruins you, I get it. Injuries are a part of the game. That's normal. But COVID protocol should not be a normal thing in the NBA. This guy says LLLL. Yeah, I mean, hey, I appreciate you commenting. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Even coaches. I'm going to put that user in time. Yeah, I mean, listen. You got to do more than that than to just comment LLLLL. So I did time you out there for 300 seconds. Miller Time Gangster says they are a playoff team, bro. I never said they weren't. The Lakers are a playoff team. But my thing is, you have AD injured, LeBron injured, all that other stuff, COVID, all this other stuff. How far do you think the Lakers are going to go? Miller Time Gangster. How far do you think they're going to go? I would love to see the Lakers win the chip. You know what I mean? Always on. Okay. He says trade WB and AD. Who is WB? Oh, Westbrook. No, we're not doing that. See, this right here, Gigi, is what I'm talking about. people just come in. Listen, I appreciate you commenting. This way we can actually talk about stuff and actually interact. Go on with these debates. All friendly, you know what I mean? Trading Westbrook and AD is like literally the last resort. Like if LeBron wanted them traded, or you know what I mean? Man. Milan says we need to sign back Ron Artest. So he can elbow. You know what I mean, bro? Get us some kind of advantage. Get Ron Artest back in business. For Damian Lillard. God 113 says trade let old James. You know what? A couple of years ago, first season with LeBron, there were rumors about trading LeBron because of his groin injury and that, you know, it was just a piss poor season. We didn't make the playoffs, and some people suggested trading LeBron. Miller Time Ganger says, well, we have to make it to the playoffs first. Yeah, Miller, I mean, I don't think it's going to be a problem making the playoffs. You know, I think we'll be fine. I think the Lakers will make the playoffs. But what I'm saying the season's over is because LeBron and that ankle injury, you're starting to see cracks, right? You think, oh, he's like the Hulk, and whatever the case is, he can never break down, but the cracks are starting to show. AD, we got to see what he's going to be. The rest of the team and the COVID protocols, we got to see what that's going to be. So there's so many ifs, Miller, that I said, like, I don't really know. Drew said the Warriors are better than the Suns. I mean, in the playoffs, we just got to wait and see, right? I mean, they're both identical records. But we'll see. I mean, if I had to pick, I don't know if I could. I really don't know if I could. That's a 7-game series for sure. Melo really showing he can play, be hitting the shots. See, that's the thing. When we had a chance in that game, Melo, right? Melo was ejected. Yeah, Gigi. So Melo was ejected because, you know, obviously he got technical foul earlier because he was chirping at the refs. What are the cases, right? The refs were just tossing out technical fouls. They were not trying to handle this, right? But I'm telling you, Melo got ejected because he went up for 3. Jay Crowder went under and hit his hip as he was landing because he wasn't giving him landing spot to land, right? That's why I was asking for a foul. He was like, ref, that should have been a foul. Why didn't you give me the foul? That's nonsense. And what happened? The ref threw him out. And then any kind of momentum we had, any kind of three-point shooting, any kind of offensive flair that we had was taken away because Melo was ejected. And what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? They need everyone back to get this 8 seed. Earth Human, I disagree with that. Without AD, I think LeBron and Russ can get, given how the standings are, 5 through 10, they're like half a game. You know what I mean? So I think the Lakers can go higher than the 8 seed without AD, hypothetically. Mateo says once Clay comes back, they'll be better than the Warriors or Suns. I mean, yeah, people would want to assume that because on paper you have Steph, you have Clay, you have all these guys, right? But Clay defensively is going to take a step back. His shot's still going to be there, but off the ball, you know, he's running around off the ball. I mean, he's going to take a step back regardless, but we'll see. Gigi says Crowder's becoming a dirty player. You know, to be honest, I've always believed that he is low-key, has always been a dirty player. It's just not as publicized, right? You think about Jay Crowder. You think about a player like that, right? I honestly believe that low-key's always been, you know, kind of dirty. That's just personally me, okay? But, you know. Drew Dawson says, I don't think so. With Clay and James Wiseman come back, I don't think the Suns have a very good chance after that. I disagree with you. I think the Suns have a great chance regardless if Clay and Wiseman come back. Because ultimately, this Suns team, as much as I say, oh, well, they beat the crippled Lakers last year. They beat the crippled Denver Nuggets last year. They beat the crippled Clippers last year. The Suns are still a great team, and I think they have a great shot at competing with a team like the Warriors. If it's a flaw that the Warriors have, it's inexperience, right? I mean, you think a team like the Warriors, right? You bring up James Wiseman. You think of Jordan Poole. You think of all these other bench role players who are great. They don't have playoff experience. Only Steph, Clay, Iguodala, Draymond, right? Those players have playoff experience. But, I mean, it's just got to be seen. That's all I'm saying. Sergio says, I'm a Suns fan. I'm just here to observe. Welcome, Sergio. You know what? Like, there's a Bulls fan in here. There's a Bulls fan in here, and he comes through, and we just talk. You know what I mean? So, welcome. Welcome. Forgot y'all have Trevor Ariza. He hurt too. You know what though? Trevor Ariza, yeah, he was out for the 31 games, right? With the ankle injury. But Trevor Ariza did look solid today. He looked great. And honestly, he's a wing defender with a longer wingspan, can guard the 2, the 3, and perhaps even the 4, can shoot the 3, can rebound solidly. And he, I like Ariza. That's a step forward. Even though I say that our season's over, I mean, getting Ariza back was a huge step. Because if you think about it, we've been missing out on a wing defender, and we got Ariza back. Let's see. Now the comments are flooding. Now I got to actually read these. How does this affect LeBron's legacy? It doesn't affect it at all, D Blaze. It doesn't affect it at all because of the fact that LeBron is still an all-time great. In my opinion, he's still a top 5 player of all time. Maybe top 3, depending on who you ask. I don't think it affects LeBron's legacy for the worse, because ultimately he's already won a chip. Now the haters will try to discredit everything that he's won and done in his career, but the fact shows that he is an all-time great. So to answer your question, D Blaze, he is just it's not going to affect his legacy for the worse. Drew says, sorry, bro, but the Warriors are a way better team than the Suns. I mean, either way, the Suns and Warriors go at it. Every time they play each other, right? The Warriors beat them, the Suns beat them. So, really can be either way. Suns can't beat Golden State in a 7-game series. I'll take that to the bank. Honestly, you might be right. You might be. The Warriors are looking really good. Okay. Steve Kerr is greater than Monty. Yeah. Suns and Warriors this year, not the Lakers. I mean, did I say that the Lakers were going to do anything this year? Who said that? Yeah, did I say that the Lakers were going to do anything this year? I mean, did the title, it says that our season is over, right? So, yeah. Westbrook got to go. 100% disagree with you. They see me trolling. They can't win. Westbrook is not the reason why we're losing. Westbrook is not the reason why we're in the situation that we're in. The Lakers have had so many players out with COVID. Frank Vogel had COVID, and AD's injured. So how can you put that blame on Russ? Let's see. Jarrell says, I'm a Laker fan, but we need to do better. Agreed. Gail says, big sad for the Lakers. It's sad. This guy says, I'm a Memphis man. Respect to the Grizzlies, dude. I like what the Grizzlies are building. I'm a Memphis fan. Shout out Lakers, though. Hey, thank you for Pau Gasol, because I will never forget that trade. Woo! Woo! God, thank you for taking Kwame Brown. Westbrook is fine. Lakers defense just suck. Agreed, Mike Fortune. I agree with that. I think, the Lakers defense needs to improve, but, it's so hard when you can't even build consistency, right? Let's see. I don't think Drew says this guy's been so sold on, the Suns not being able to do anything this year, apparently. I don't think the Suns are that good. To be honest, they could lose in the first round of the playoffs. I think the Blazers can do that. Heck no. I'm willing. The Blazers will never beat the Suns in a 7-game series, Drew. Are you kidding me? The Blazers just lost to the Pelicans today. There's no way that they beat the Suns. No. There's no way. Let's see. Sergio says, I simply love that the Suns are winning with the majority of the players over double digits in every game. We don't simply... Yeah, see, that's the thing. Booker's not going for 30 every game. Chris Paul's not going for 25 and 12 every game. You got players like Cameron Brayne, Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, right? And other players like Cam Johnson. Like, I could probably bring up a few more. Like, I saw the Suns last year beat the Lakers. And even though we were hobbled, right, I acknowledge that was a deep, deep team. And the Suns should be recognized for that. They have a chance to compete with the Warriors in a 7-game series. Miller Time Gangster says the Lakers are going to win the title. I hope, man. All I could hope. Do you think LeBron can win one more ring before he retires? No. Unfortunately, I don't think so. It's you're starting to look at the player that he's becoming, right? He's breaking down slowly with these ankle sprains, with the groin, with all this stuff going on. I think his best shot's to win it this year. If they can get their act together and win it this year, this will be their best shot. But after this year, I don't see it happening. Dub's going to win the ship. Who knows? The Blazers can beat the Suns. It's not about can, but are they the favorites? Are they legitimately built to beat the Suns? No, they're not. The LBJ's legacy is untouchable. The man is responsible for more points generated in NBA career than anyone. It's not even close. Yeah, Gail, 100% agree. It doesn't matter what the Lakers do this year if they lose in the first round. Like, LeBron's legacy is untouchable. He's already solidified himself as an all-time great. That's just a fact, right? The media predicted Lakers to be second. Yeah, I mean, it's understandable. If the Lakers never got COVID and if they never got injured, it's understandable. But then again, that's so many ifs, and that's what the media doesn't take into account. They just look at a piece of paper, and they're like, you know what? 1, 2, 3, 4, So you really got to take other things into consideration. Mike Fortune says Memphis kicked the Warriors out of the playoffs. That's a true point to make. Trade AD and LeBron. Get out of here. For real, okay. The Lakers have no picks. They'll be in the basement for the next 5 years. Honestly, when LeBron retires and he leaves and AD, this Laker team will struggle and they'll be in a rebuild. But I'm here for it, okay? Because before LeBron, before AD, before all these other players came along, before we won the 2020 championship, I stuck by my team, okay? I watched those garbage years when Chris Kaman was sleeping on the bench, right? When we didn't have enough players. By the way, we won that game. When we had Tariq Black, Jordan Hill, Nick Young, Wesley Johnson, Carlos Boozer, Jeremy Lin. I mean, dang, dude. I'm here for it, though. I'm going to support my team through thick and thin. So, doesn't matter. Some people say that Kevin Durant's the best player. Understandably so. Look, KD's a beast. He can do everything. Let's see. Memphis has that dark horse energy. They really do. I mean, you look at John Morant and the team that – I mean, John Morant's not even playing and the Grizzlies are playing so good basketball. So, they definitely do have that dark horse energy. And if you want to talk about a dark horse that can beat a team like the Suns, I think the Grizzlies are capable of that. I don't think the Blazers are capable of beating the Suns in a 7-game series. Now, Drew, you point out the Blazers just beat the Suns, bro. That's just one game. Because if you want to go by your logic, Drew, then I can say, well, you know what? The Suns beat the Warriors earlier this season. So per your stance, then I can say the Suns can beat the Warriors in the postseason, but you're not really giving them much of a chance now, are you? I think the Nuggets can beat the Suns, to be honest. I mean, if they get Jamal Murray, yeah, of course they can. I mean, let's be honest here. Jamal Murray and Jokic, they made the conference final a couple of years ago. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, sure. Portland just lost to OT in the Suns last week. I get that. If LeBron wants to win another ring, he can't have a team built around him right now. He'd have to join a ring. I agree with you, Gigi. I do think that LeBron's getting to that point where maybe he should start looking forward to joining a team that's not built around him. Because here's the thing, when LeBron builds a team around him, he's going to have to be the workload. If LeBron gets injured or if he load manages, the team goes into shambles. Why? Because the team is built around him. You have a bunch of old shooters, so when LeBron gets injured or whatever the case is, then, you know what I mean? They can't do much. So it makes sense. I think LeBron goes back to the Cavs. They're young. Anything is possible. But I don't see that happening because ultimately LeBron understands that he can't, because he becomes a free agent, 2-3 years? By the time he's going to be 39, maybe 40, I don't see him going back to the Cavs and having a team revolved around him. And they're not going to be able to recruit as well as he would be if he was in LA or in another big market. The Nuggets can kick the Suns off in the playoffs, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you about the Nuggets, Drew. I am disagreeing with you about the Blazers. Let's see. He would have to bandwagon a team. AD's not a top 5 power forward right now. Here's the thing about that. Interesting statement, GG, because he's been playing center this year. I do believe that the Lakers relied too much on analytics, right? Because he saw that statistically he played better as a center than power forward, but that was in spurts. He doesn't play center the entire game, but now the Lakers had him play center the entire time. They had Anthony Davis bulk up 10 pounds, and that makes a big difference because they wanted him to play more like a Joel Embiid, a Shaq kind of player, be down low in the post, play physical. But that's not AD's game. Okay, he can't sustain that kind of physicality. He is a finesse kind of player. He'll beat you around the rim with a quick first step, right? Jab step, footwork, defense. That's the kind of game he has. So I think AD needs to go back to what he used to be because he's not as fast anymore. He needs to lose the 10 pounds. Because the Lakers are a top 5 team in pace. AD can't keep up with them. So AD needs to lose the 10 pounds and just go back to being AD. That's my advice, and then he'll easily be a top 5 power forward again. Drew forgot that the Suns swept the Nuggets just last season. Yeah, but that that was without Jamal Murray, though, right? Gail says if they stay healthy and make the playoffs, how do you see the Cavs faring against someone in the... Well, Gail, here's the thing about the Cavs. Who are they going to match up with? Because honestly, yes, I think they will make the playoffs this year, but who are they going to match up with is my point. Because if they match up with a team like the Bucks or the Nets or the Bulls, I don't really see the Cavs taking 2 games. Maybe 1 at most, but like I mentioned before, it's all about who they match up with. Warriors are going to beat the Suns on Christmas Day. It'll be interesting. That is the game to watch. I'm a Laker fan, but that is the game to watch. Warriors Suns, not Lakers Nets, because honestly, I don't know if LeBron will be playing. What do you think happens with Ben Simmons? Honestly, God knows what's going to happen with Ben Simmons. I don't even know. I don't know because Ben Simmons, the thing with Ben Simmons is he's still a solid player, but dang, dude, I don't know where he's going to go. I don't know. So I can't answer that question for you, but I genuinely don't know. I mean, he's been out of the conversation for so long. I don't know. Insert team can beat the Suns. That's what Team Freddy says. Okay. I want Memphis and Utah in the playoffs back from last year. Dude, that was a great playoff series last year. I think the Grizzlies took game 1 from the Jazz in Utah, the 1 and 8 seed. Now the Grizzlies, I think it would be a 6-game series at least. Honestly, it can go either way. I can see the Grizzlies legitimately upsetting the Jazz this year. Something about the Jazz. I think the Grizzlies have taken more progression than the Jazz have this year. I think they can beat the Jazz in a playoff series as a dark horse. Because nobody will really be expecting as much because the Jazz are always, top 4 team in the West, right? We know what they have, but we'll see, man. I hope so because I don't like the Jazz. I like the Grizzlies much more, so I hope the Grizzlies win that series if it does happen. Let's be honest here. Everyone's sleeping on the Bulls. No one's sleeping on the Bulls, Harris. We have a Bulls fan in here, and we were talking about the Bulls a couple days ago on my stream. We all acknowledge that, at least I acknowledge that the Bulls realistically can only lose to a few teams, the Nets and the Bucks, and maybe the Heat. But the Bulls, honestly, if they stay healthy, no COVID protocol, they are a top 4 or 5 team in the East. No one's sleeping on them. But in a 7-game series, it's going to be tough, especially when you don't have a solid defensive big man, right? You have Vucevic, but you don't have a defensive big man, right? You think about teams like the Bucks, right? They got a big man like Giannis, right? You think about a team like the 76ers. They got a player like Embiid. So you're going to have to get more size. I think that's the only thing the Bulls are lacking. I hope the Suns can start losing games. Well, I mean, it seems like you're a Warriors fan, so why wouldn't you? Gigi is the Bulls fan. Shout out to Gigi. He showed up in the other stream, so shout out to him because I know we even reached 80 people at a point. Last stream at most I was getting 5 people, and Gigi was one of the people that showed up and was commenting, and shout out. When the Lakers win a game, LeBron says he has good sleep. My theory is that Lakers don't have good sleep. Yeah, I mean, You might be right about that, Robert, because I always see people on social media posting at, 2 a.m. or whatever the case is, and sleep matters a lot. There was this one game where LeBron just was energized, extremely energized, and he dominated. And he said, yeah, I got like 12 hours of sleep. So, you know what? Sleep is an important factor. We can tell, Drew. Yeah, we can tell. Gail says, is Klay Thompson expected to return back where he was before he got injured? I don't know much about injuries, but feels like he hasn't played in forever. People are expecting Klay to come back and be great, but I think it's going to be a little bit different. I think Klay's game is going to deteriorate a little bit because you think about a player like Klay, right? He revolves around off-ball movement. He is a very defensive player, right? He's a fantastic defensive player. So when you tear a part of your body like your ACL or whatever the case is, 2 major injuries in the last 2 seasons, his defense is going to take a step back. His off-ball movement perhaps could take a step back. It's not like he had much lift on his jump shot compared to other players, but he'll still be a fantastic player. Not that same player, though, Gail. He'll be great. He'll be great, though. The real question is, does LeBron get poor sleep at home? Haha. Honestly, dude, I don't know. I mean, he has kids. There are people at his home. I don't know. Lance Stevenson signed with the Hawks. He was clutch in LA. I'm glad for Lance. I never understood it. I feel like, when it comes to a player like Lance or Isaiah Thomas or Carmelo, it's like, why were they ever out of the league? You think about some players in the NBA now, it's like, dude, these guys are hot trash. I don't know how Lance Stevenson was out of the league for that long. But I think he'll be great for the Hawks. He brings that specific aura to a team, right? Energizer, right? He can score. I think he'll be good. Gigi said maybe LeBron didn't have his tacos yesterday, and that's why they lost. Well, hey, whoa. Today's Taco Tuesday, Gigi. Like, LeBron gets his tacos on Tuesday. So, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Drew said, I don't know. I believe he can. I don't know. I believe he can do it. Okay. But dang. Yet the Suns will be playing the Celtics for a couple weeks. I think the Celtics are going to beat the Suns. Drew, I'm starting to believe that you're just trying to convince yourself that the Suns are not a threat to your Warriors. Because ultimately, you're looking at the standings. You see that the Suns are, first in the... Agree with me? Okay. Everyone in the chat, agree with me if you guys agree with me on this. Drew is simply a Warriors fan who is low-key scared of the Suns and is trying to criticize the Suns in any way they could, saying that any team could beat the Suns, to try to lessen his fear, to make him feel more satisfied about the position that the Warriors are in. And let's be honest here, the Suns are first in the West for a reason. So let's not dismiss that fact, Drew. I know you love your Warriors, but let's be honest, you're scared. You're scared. But, yeah, I mean, Drew, because you've been the guy to message a lot, like, oh, the Blazers could beat the Suns, or this team could beat the Suns, this team could beat the Suns. See, everyone's agreeing with me for a reason, Drew. Just admit it. Hey, listen, if you're scared, I will stand up, give you a round of applause, because you deserve that. If it takes a lot of guts for a team like the Warrior fans especially to say, oh, yeah, we're scared of this team. They're scared. I know y'all scared. Listen, the Suns are a fantastic team. Okay, let's see. To be honest, we can't blame this loss on LeBron. That man will always have... Yeah, I'm not blaming LeBron. I never did. Like I mentioned before, I don't know if you're in the stream. LeBron's not at fault, and it's honestly sad seeing him carry this team the way he is, and it's honestly not the Lakers' fault as much because of the unexpected obstacles like COVID, like injuries. And especially with the COVID protocols that, LeBron had to carry the Lakers more and he got injured. So I feel sad. I feel bad for him. Monte Ellis tried to come back, but it didn't happen. Yeah, it didn't. All I know is that the Bulls have the nickname for the Bulls. That's an injury. That is by far the best top trio nickname. Drew Dawson says, I mean, if you can agree with me on this one, the Celtics have been playing better defense, so I think they can. You know what? It's not about can, Dawson. It's about Will they? Because we keep talking. I know what you're doing. You're looking at the schedule and you keep saying, well, the Celtics can do this, the Celtics can do that. But when I'm looking at it, the Celtics have lost their last 6 out of the last 8 games. So keep telling yourself that the Celtics are going to do something. If you want to look at the schedule and look at your stats, let's look at all the stats. And let's not just look at stats from your side of the story to help you convince yourself that the Warriors don't have anyone that can threaten them in a playoff series. Even the Lakers beat the Celtics. We whooped the Celtics. So keep telling yourself whatever you want to, Drew. That's all I'm going to say. You feel? Let's see. What else? The chats finally start to slow down. I can actually, breathe, not lose my voice completely. Yeah, nobody's scared of the Celtics. Seriously. Nobody is scared of the Celtics. They might not even make the playoffs this year. I expect them to, but they're looking pretty trash this year, honestly. I had them as a top 4 or 5 seed in the East, and they're looking trash, dude. And when you lose to a team like the Lakers, I'm sorry. Do you notice how Drew has gotten a little quiet? He's starting to look up on Google or something why the Suns are, you know what I mean? Sergio says, bro, this is giving me a good laugh, though. Glad I dropped by. I'm subscribing. I appreciate you, man. This is what we do. After every Laker game, I'll be posting more videos. But for the people who are watching, I do these live streams after every Laker game. And yes, I do talk about the Lakers, right? And, I love talking about my Lakers, but I love talking to you guys more. I love talking to you guys, just about sports, messing with people for fun or whatever the case is. I trash my own team for fun too, right? So it's all fun in here. It's all fun in here. So, I love it. I love this. This is exactly what I envisioned. When I made this YouTube channel, my goal was to have something like this. And I am going to make a Discord. I am going to do something like this where I'm going to be able to talk to you guys more on a consistent basis because I want to have this conversation with you guys. Drew Dawson finally commented. Make or miss league in the NBA. Jason says Clippers have a better record than the Lakers without Kawhi. Yeah, I mean, they do. But at the same time, the Clippers have almost identically the same team as they did last year. So getting the chemistry together is not going to be as hard. And second of all, the Clippers don't get the best shot from the opposing team as the Lakers do. Because every time the Lakers play someone, primetime TV. You know what I mean? And every team will give it their best shot. Ain't nobody care about no Clippers without Kawhi Leonard, dude. Nobody cares about that. So, at the end of the day, Jason, the Clippers have 0 championships, 0 finals appearances, and did I mention 0 legitimate fans? Because I live in LA, okay? I don't know a real Clipper fan. Please enlighten me a little bit and tell me who's actually a Clipper fan. And if you're a real Clipper fan, I salute you. But y'all have a bunch of bandwagons, dude. Oh, my Lord. Gigi says almost 100 subs. Let's get him to 1,000. Yeah, let's go. Oh, man. 1,000 subs coming weeks. Hopefully, man. Hey, all about building a legitimate community. Because I always see here's the thing for all the people who are watching. I always see people like Stephen A. and Colin and Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless talk about sports. And I'm like, man, I don't agree with their opinion. I feel like sometimes they don't watch the games or do as much homework or whatever the case is, right? Because they have a lot of topics to cover. But, I want to talk with you guys about it. I love talking to you guys about just anything because it feels more authentic. I feel like sometimes they're going off a script. You have one side who says one thing and the other side is forced to disagree. I feel like this is more authentic. Jason says, don't hate on my team. Hey, you know what? I'm just messing with you. I clown the Clippers for fun. And you know what, though? I had more respect for the Clippers back then when they had Elton Brand, Corey Maggette, Coutinho Mobley, players like that, Sean Livingston. They were more likable back then than this Paul George, Kawhi Leonard garbage that they got going on. I'm sorry, but that's a fact. And if you guys remember players like Coutinho Mobley and stuff, that was a pretty solid team. That Clipper team with Elton Brand and all that stuff, that was a pretty solid team. Chris Kaman, But yeah, people who live in LA go to Clipper games back then, right? I remember going back in like 2006, whatever the case is, right? We used to go watch Clipper games to watch the opposing team. And that's what other players did. They would go watch the Timberwolves when they had Kevin Garnett. They would go watch the Rockets when they had Yao Ming. You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. Dawson says Curry's the greatest shooter in the NBA. No one's better than him. Sorry. Okay. See, Dawson, that is the first thing you said correctly out of the a bajillion comments that you put down. Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. But does that change the fact that the Suns are a threat to you? Seriously. Well, he's trying to come out with comments like Curry's the greatest shooter of all time to try dismissing the fact that the Suns are a contender, to try dismissing the fact that the Suns are a threat to the Warriors. I see what you're doing, Drew. You're trying to deny. You're trying to negate. Come on, Warriors. They didn't have nobody. Let's see. You know that Golden State lost to the Raptors? Yeah. KD was injured. I'll give you that. Laker Nation, do you think I'll keep hitting betting on LeBron's points plus assists on? Dude, honestly, if LeBron's healthy, right? If he's healthy, he's gonna lead in points. That's 100%. He's gonna lead in assists. Actually, Russ might do that, but points and rebounds are 100%. You gotta put that on LeBron. That's my advice. Nobody is scared of anyone in the NBA. They were pros. That's what I was saying, Sonny. Earlier, I was saying, when I was hearing talks about Miles Turner, he doesn't want to come to the West or something like that. I'm like, dude, these are professional athletes. Your job is to play basketball. And if you are on a team, right, you shouldn't be afraid to play anybody. You got to beat the best to be the best. Okay, you can't just expect to beat up on a team like the Magic and be the champions of the NBA. That's just not going to happen. So when I hear someone scared, I'm just like, dude, what? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? But yeah, LeBron's points and rebounds, yeah, definitely. Because he's always getting like 25 plus points and like 8 plus rebounds. And considering how the Lakers don't have big men right now, Gail, definitely with the rebounds. Yeah, comments actually start to slow down because here's the thing. Comments start slowing down because Drew has nothing else to say. Oh, no, he has something to say. All of the Rockets were playing on Saturday. Come on, it's the only reason why. Oh, my God. Let me ask you this, Drew. Yes or no? Or no, not yes or no. How long have you been a Warriors fan for? Because I genuinely want to know when you became a Warriors fan. Because I know there's some very loyal Warrior fans, but at the same time, there are a lot of bandwagon Warrior fans. So I genuinely want to know. And there are 48 people in the chat. Let's get some more comments going. It dried up a little bit because Drew ain't saying anything, This guy said, hey, Drew, Sun's on the way. Hey, dude, just puts into perspective how good the Pacific Division is. Suns, Warriors. Clippers are healthy, they're really good. If the Lakers are healthy, they're really good. And then you got the bum Sacramento Kings. I mean, dang. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, are you guys predicting like a Warriors Suns Western Conference Finals? Only reason why the Warriors lost on Saturday against the Raptors, you really think the Rockets are going to beat the Raptors? Come on. Why are you ignoring my question, Drew? I asked you what year you became a Warrior fan. It's okay. Listen. Yeah, like we're all like trying to prove a point that the Suns are a threat to the Warriors. But here you are trying to make a point that the Suns are nobodies. So it's all for fun, I don't. Are we going to get a response from him? What do you think, guys? Are we going to get a response what year he became a Warrior fan? And if not, please let me know what year he became a Warrior fan because I'm curious now. Bulls versus Nets Eastern Conference Finals? Could be. Could be. It'll be interesting for sure, though. Gigi makes a great point. Are you a Warrior fan or a Curry fan? Because there are plenty of Stephen Curry fans, just like how there are a lot of LeBron fans who are not Laker fans. Those kind of fans piss me off the most because they're the ones who say trade this person, trade that person. But the fact that he's not answering, I don't want to make an assumption, but I don't know. Bulls did beat the Nets twice. That's a good point too, Savage. That's a great point because that just goes to show that the Bulls are capable of beating a team like the Nets in a 7-game series. It's going to be tough, but we'll see. We will see what happens with that. But dang, guys, like y'all are popping off in the chat. It's almost 2 hours in. When it was the hour mark, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go till an hour and 30 because I'm losing my voice. But here I am. At a point there was 88 people, and yeah. Nets might have Kyrie playing away games in the playoffs. Interesting point, Gigi. They might, but you have to also understand that the COVID situation might be different come April time. So we'll see. Gail says this is the first year that Western Conference is weaker than the Eastern Conference. Man. I would have to look because ultimately I do believe that the West is better top heavy. I just, you know what though? Like, I think people are questioning it because there's so many teams on the Western Conference side that are injured, right? You got the Lakers, they're banged up, COVID. You got the Clippers, there's no Kawhi. You got the Nuggets, no Jamal Murray. So really, if you look at those teams, if they all became healthy, then you would just think that the Western Conference is better. But the only reason why people are suggesting that the Eastern Conference is better is because they're not healthy. So really, you only have the Warriors and Suns and the Jazz. So, yeah. Drew finally responded, but once again, dodging my question. I don't think you know, but the Warriors just have a fun when they play, and nobody in the NBA can do that. Have you watched the Chicago Bulls, Drew? When you say the Warriors are the only team that can have fun, you're telling me that the Chicago Bulls are not having fun. You're telling me that the Phoenix Suns are not having fun. You're telling me that these other teams are not having fun. Wow. Forget the question that I asked you and just come out with the point like that. Come on, Drew. You're better than that. Suns versus Bulls in the finals like 1993? Maybe. Hopefully, Lakers can have 8-game win streak. See, Robert, I think that's possible. But they can't have anyone go on COVID protocol. They can't have injuries. But that's possible, Robert. I hope so. Bro, a Suns versus Bulls finals would be lit. Gonna get that finals rematch. That would be a pretty cool finals. That would be. Gigi says, how long have you been a Warriors fan, Drew? Gigi, even I don't know. Because he won't answer. He's on the chat. Very long time. What year? Drew. What year? Should I tag him in the chat or something? You know what I mean? Come on, Drew. We're all waiting for your response. We're all asking what year. Two Savage says Suns in 6 from a Bulls fan. Are you saying Suns in 6 against who? Savage. We're at the edge of our seats. We are. We are at the edge of our seats. Sonny says, I feel like this chat popped up because people are intrigued that the Lakers season is over. In terms of the amount of fans, the Lakers have the most fans. They're the most fans worldwide. They're the biggest brand of basketball. So when obviously you hear me saying that the Lakers season's over, people are going to tune in. But what I'm surprised is that people are actually sticking around. Drew says, I don't feel bad for Chris Paul to not having a ring. I mean, at the end of the day, these players are earning millions of dollars. Chris Paul is filthy rich. I don't feel bad for him, right? Suns and 6 was the Bulls as a Bulls fan. You know what? You know what, Too Savage? Thank you for admitting that. Because honestly, I could see that. I could see Suns and 6 versus the Bulls. See, we have some people in here that are willing to admit some things, unlike Drew. So, Drew's talking about how Chris Paul is not going to win a ring, and he hopes that he doesn't. So I'm just going to assume Drew became a Steph Curry fan in 2016. Is that a safe assumption to make, guys? Everyone in the comments, please comment down below. Is he a Warrior fan or a Steph Curry fan? I don't know about Chris Paul getting a ring. It's possible. With the amount of injuries this year and COVID protocols, it's a weird season. Phoenix could definitely get a ring this year. Gigi says, I feel like the Bulls and Lakers have the most fans worldwide because of the Jordan and Rose era. I agree with you about the Jordan era. I don't think the Bulls really got many worldwide fans compared to Jordan. But the Lakers definitely have more. But yeah, Bulls, Lakers, really big worldwide brands. Curry fan, I'm getting Curry fans. How can someone not want Chris Paul to get a ring? Gail, he is a basketball hater. I mean, personally, he's not on the Lakers, right? So I don't care if he gets a ring. But, if I was just a non-Laker fan, I'd be like, you know what? He's an all-time great player, all-time great point guard, But I wanted Chris Paul in the Lakers 2011. That's what I wanted. He would have had many of those things if he came to the Lakers. So, yeah. Jesus. Drew sounding like a 12-year-old Warrior fan. That's why I said I make the prediction. He's probably a 2016 Warrior fan. Safe to say, Drew, or do you want to prove us wrong and say that you're not and that you're like a 2010 or something? Like, what are you going to say? Gigi says, we all know the only Knicks fans are in New York. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know many Knicks fans outside of New York. Drew is a Curry fan. That's all. Robert says, top seed's not always a guarantee to win. Go Lakers. That is a fact. Speaking of the Warriors, let's talk about the Warriors. Great point, Robert. Top seed is not always a guarantee to win it all. Last year, the Jazz did not make the finals or even sniff the finals. But let's talk about the 73-9 Warriors. The number one seed, Robert. They were the number one seed. And what they do? Yeah. You want me to be completely honest? NBA's rigged. Okay. Suns on a roll as a Memphis fan. I wouldn't want to see Chris Paul in the playoffs. I don't want to see Chris Paul in the people think that Chris Paul is just some guy or something. Do people not remember him when he was on the Hornets? Seriously. Real Warrior fans are awesome, but there are a ton of 100% agree with you. There are some really nice and dope Warrior fans. But the bandwagons really just put a stain on their franchise. I don't like it. Gigi says Pistons will be 22 NBA champions. How much are you willing to put on that? Drew responds, the NBA is soft nowadays. Okay, I've never seen this guy. SD Fishin says, why does all of LeBron's teams play like this? Because the teams are built around him, SD Fishin. LeBron, ball dominant player, right? He is a force, can attract the double team, and he gets a bunch of shooters around him, right? So without LeBron, the team really can't do much. That's why you see stats like, oh, look at the records of these teams without LeBron. Look at the plus minus without LeBron. Yeah, because the team is literally built around LeBron. I don't get it, man. I really don't. What else we got going on? I think that might be all, honestly. Like, there isn't much else. Any last minute questions you guys have, you can go ahead and toss them at me, or anything you want to say, because I will be ending the stream relatively soon. Next time I'll be streaming is after the Laker game. And I will be posting videos and stuff like that. So keep in touch. I will be making a Discord. So watch out for that. And yeah. Sergio says, so true man built around LeBron has no identity without him. Yep. Sonny says, get some rest. 100% agree. I will. Drew says, that's because the LeBron James is the reason why the Warriors didn't win it all. Yeah. Gigi says, the new Matrix movie came out today, but I heard it sucks. And then Two Savage says, who would the Lakers wanted more for the Lakers, Westbrook or DeMar? DeMar would have been the better fit, but I think with Westbrook, there's more potential. That's what I believe, to answer your question. I have not watched a new Spider-Man movie yet, and I will go do so soon. I've been just relatively busy, but I'll go do that as soon as I can. I've been hearing it. It's really good, so I will go ahead and do that. But if that's all for the questions or just any chat in general, I will end the stream. Like I mentioned before, the next Lakers game is against the Spurs, 7:30 p.m. Pacific. So after that game, I will be, if you spoil, I'm banning you. Just know that. If after the Lakers Spurs game, I will be come back on live stream again. So like I mentioned before, there are some Bulls fans in here, Grizzlies fans. I mean, yeah, so we'll see. Suns fans. So yeah, I think we'll beat the Spurs, but I'll come back on here after the game, and you see Drew trying to troll, but I'm bigger than that because I need to rest my voice. Appreciate you all for sticking around for this 2-hour stream. Honestly, the non-Laker fans, I appreciate you guys too. And I will see you guys next stream. Hopefully, I'll see you guys then too. All right, so take it easy, and I'll see you then. All right, peace out, guys.